All right, guys, I'm not sure if you can hear me now. Seems like we had a bit of a technical issue on the sound side of things, although we have tested it beforehand. This does tend to happen once in a while. If you can just confirm for Lauren there behind the computer that the sound is now all good. All right. And just since we had the sound issue from the start, I am going to start from scratch again. Just quickly run through what we have discussed already. So we would be covering some of the features of the Trotec Speedy 300 today. This machine is one of our mid-range machines of the Speedy series. The configurations available for this machine, a whole lot of different ones, but the primary differences would be the power range between 30 and 120 watts. The flex range, which is what we're doing the demo on today, adds the fiber laser source to the CO2, which also gives you the possibility to process a whole lot of different materials, including most metals. The maximum work area for this machine is 726 by 435. This area is, of course, the area where you can cut or engrave materials. As a standard, it's a single-phase machine, 220 volts, which means we can run it virtually anywhere, including our living room or garage or at the shop. The machine also features the impact technology. Impact technology is the design of the motion system, as well as some additional features like the harsh environment kit on the inside of the machine to protect the optics, as well as a lot of the sensitive components of the machine against dust. The machine is also equipped, unlike other machines on the market, with a built-in compressor. This compressor assists in keeping the optics clean, as well as prevent flaming on the products. This is also automatic and software controlled, which makes it extremely easy to use. The machine is also equipped with autofocus. The configuration that we are using today do not have this autofocus, but we are going to use the manual focus tool that is applied with the lens. The standard work table on these machines are ferromagnetic. This ferromagnetic table is great for sensitive materials or focus sensitive materials, where we can hold the materials down with little magnets to keep it nice and flat. If you do want to protect the surface of this table, it is recommended to use a piece of metal or a sheet of glass, thin enough to have your table protected, and of course to use magnets through this object. Along with the machine comes Job Control, which is the print drive and control software. This you will see in a bit when we do the demonstration. This is currently only working on Microsoft Windows. However, Trotec is in process of developing software that can be used then from Apple, Macintosh, or any other computer for that matter. This is still in the development phase. Job Control is, however, compatible with most of your current design, Inkscape, and a lot more. Job Control and the print driver also comes with a set of materials preloaded. These materials have been tested by Trotec to the best of their abilities. Of course, these settings do need some tweaking, so as you move along with your material settings, you will tweak the settings to the best output possible. Each of those material settings have up to 16 different colors that you can utilize for different instruction sets, power, speed, of course, and then cutting or engraving. This creates a whole lot of different possibilities. Knowing your materials, however, before you start a job or when you start testing materials is extremely important. If it's a new material that you are testing, we always recommend to request material safety data sheets to make sure that the machine would stay safe, as well as your health is not at risk. It's also important to ensure that your materials is always flat, as I mentioned earlier with the ferromagnetic table. That is possible with magnets, but on other surfaces like the honeycomb table, you can use something like masking tape, or you can inquire about the vacuum table option. Keeping your materials flat will prevent flaming, as well as have consistency in engraving. All our machines are supplied with external extraction. Trotec does offer a whole range of filter systems, which is also software controlled, which means I can start the job from the computer, and of course the machine will just turn on the exhaust. These filter systems are more recommended for areas where you cannot extract outside, like a shopping center or an office park. Training is included with the machine. standard, and additional training can always be requested afterwards. This training is on the basic operation of the machine as well as on maintenance. We cover most of the software itself, job control, as well as the print driver, machine use, as well as maintenance of the machine. We tend not to cover the design aspects, but focus more on the software and the machine side itself. The design aspects we leave for the operator or the user. Additional accessories are available for most of our machines. Like the rotary attachment that we will do today, we have for the cylindrical items. Then, of course, JC Vision, which is our camera system for your print and cut applications. We have honeycomb tables, vacuum tables, and a whole lot more. Repairs and maintenance, services, upgrades of the software, training, that's all handled by the technical department here in South Africa. We keep most of our common parts in stock, and even if we do not have a part in stock, we can very quickly get it. Our lead times are very short. We also offer maintenance packages for those customers interested, especially on the newer machines. Maintenance package similar to what your car maintenance package would offer, which gives you the peace of mind on your machine services, maintenance, as well as repairs. Over now to our demonstration for today. We'll change the screen to the software and, of course, show you the camera on the inside of the machine. As mentioned earlier, for today's demonstration, we have picked a rotary attachment and some of our glitter bottle. Now, we're currently using, as you would see on the camera for the machine, an old shape rotary. The new shape rotaries are the same, just with additional features. So in CorelDRAW, we have our artwork ready, and I'm just going to hit print from here. For my printer, I'm going to make sure that the Trotec engraver is selected, and I'm going to go to the settings icon next to it. Over here for my rotary attachment, since we are doing rotary, I am going to select it and make sure that my diameter is correctly set based on what I have measured. For this measurement, we don't use a ruler, we use something like a vernier caliper, just to make sure that we have an accurate measurement of this diameter. For the height, we can either use the size of the artwork, the height shown in CorelDRAW on the top left over here, or I can use the height for my y-axis. Currently it's set for the height of the y-axis, which is 435 millimeters on this particular machine. And I'm also going to make sure that I use the minimize to job size option. This minimize to job size will reduce the white space on the sides of the artwork, top and bottom and sides, and also remove all the bitmap data that goes along with that white space. For materials, I'm going to select under metal, I'm going to select my anodized aluminium setting. This setting works quite well for most coated metals. On this particular machine, my power is set to 100% and my speed set to 40%. This is now for the anodized aluminium. For my process mode, we've got a whole range of different process modes on job control, but I am going to use standard for this one. It's not a stamp, we don't process any photos currently, so standard it is. For resolution, for the artwork that I have currently, 500 dpi is correct. So I'm just going to run with that one. And for cut line, this should be on none. This is a software added cut line. So unless you want to have job control add the software, the cut line for you in the software, this should be on none. For halftone, we've got also a whole range of options. Order dithering, Stucky, Jarvis, Floyd Steinberg is mostly used for stamps and photos, where color is used if we want to utilize the full 16 different colors in the material database, as you can see on the screen over there. If I want to use those 16 colors for different applications, different engraving depths, then I would need to specify color under halftone. For now, since I'm using only one single color, I'm just going to use black and white as my halftone setting. From there, I'm just going to click on the JC button, which is OK, and hit print. This will send it through to the Windows spool folder. Once processed, it will appear into job control. On the right-hand side over here, we've got the job queue. From this job queue, I can move it, drag it, and drop it anywhere on the white plate. The white plate shows me the full size of the material, of the table size of the machine. This will change dependent on what machine you use. This crosshair that's visible on screen currently, that would be where the laser pointer is positioned currently over the bottle. I will just bring in my job from the queue. You'll notice the plate immediately changed to show me a picture of the rotary attachment. This just tells the machine now that we are in rotary mode. It still shows me the pointer where it is positioned, and I can snap my artwork anywhere to the corners or to the center. I'm going to use the center point. That's where I have placed the pointer. Right, from there, I'm just going to start the job by clicking on the start button over here. Of course, the lid of the machine needs to be closed. Once I start, the machine will come out of standby and the rotary will start turning to the correct position and it will start the engraving process. So while that is running, I'm just going to go over some of the standard tips that we normally do regarding work on the rotary attachments. First but foremost, the important factor is that you have to have the machine completely switched off when connecting or disconnecting this rotary attachment. This is extremely important. The rotary attachment takes over the Y-axis movement. So if you plug it in while the machine is powered on, you can damage the electronic boards of the rotary as well as the Y-axis, which can be quite expensive repair. Although we do keep these parts in stock, you still need a technician and it's still quite a large invoice, so this can be avoided. Always check that movement on the rotary is clear. When you place an object in the rotary, always make sure that there's free movement and there's no possible collision. You will notice on the right-hand side on the camera of the inside of the machine, you'll see there's nose cone is there. I remove the nose cone to avoid possible collision with the cones of the rotary attachment itself. I'm also using a 2.5-inch lens and I'll explain that in a bit. In job control, we also have the possibility to change the rotational speed of the rotary to a lower speed. We tend to use between 10 and 20%. The rotational speed is the speed at which the object would return to its home position or move to the start position, or whichever the case might be. This is important because if we want to do multiple passes like what we would do on glass, for instance, we would need to have precise positioning. If the object is not tightly secured into the clamp, it can shift during this movement. So lower speed means less chance of that happening. Of course, the clamps also needs to be fairly tight. You should not be able to move the object by your hand while the machine is powered on. That way we know that the object itself is secured and the chance for slipping is very slim. Coming back to the lens, the reason why we use a 2.5-inch lens is because it's got longer focal length, so the clearance between the working head and the object in the rotary is a lot more. This clearance is important for stuff like the cones or brackets on the rotary, that type of stuff. However, the larger the focal length, the less the detail on the product itself. So if you do require fine detail engraving, it is best to keep your lens to a 1.5-inch lens. If you can get away with less detail, the 2.5-inch lens, like what we are using here today, would be ideal. It's also recommended to just test your diameter and make sure that the diameter of the actual product is good. And what I normally use for testing the product is masking tape over the product with a very light towel set to engrave it on the masking tape, not through the masking tape. And then we can test and see if our positioning and diameter was set correctly. I'm going to ask Lauren if there's any questions in the comment section. It doesn't seem like it. If you guys do have any questions, you're more than welcome to ask. If we can get to it today, we will. Otherwise, we'll just reply via email. Just also mention your company name and your contact name so that we can trace you on the system. So our engraving is almost done. And I'm just going to take it out and show you quickly. Haven't cleaned it yet. I don't know if Lauren wants to zoom in there. Just need to wipe it a bit. But you can see the nice shiny metal underneath that is now displayed on here. Through the glitter, this finish would also be available on most of the other colors available on these bottles. And also the drinking cups that is available. Also the same glitter range. That's all from my side for today. I hope that you guys have seen how easy this is. And if you want to know anything specific and have any ideas for us for future webinars/training sessions, feel free to just give us a ring or send us an email. All the best, and until the next one, goodbye.